What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Game Show Global Esports Cup. We have another best of 3 on the way, again with FDG, this time going up against Aspera. They previously just lost 2-0 versus CIS Rejects, so hopefully for them they could scrap together some sort of points here. I'm Mikelorus, going to be joined by Lyrical Gangster for this best of 3, and it seems like, well, someone got a little bit of a penalty because of lateness. Got 40 seconds of reserve time for FDG.
Yeah, and hopefully that doesn't end up playing into it too big of a deal. You never want to be seeing a little bit of scheduling things causing problems, but thankfully it looks like we are going to be seeing FDG get on into this game in the end. We're going to definitely be having a game. Lena Tusk banned out as well as a Leshrac Bounty Hunter into the first pick Queen of Pain there. So a pretty strong move. I feel like Queen of Pain is always just going to be a great hero to be able to pick on up. And then with the Earthshaker pick there, maybe opting for a little bit of security for FDG's mid laner, or just, wanting to keep an Earthshaker in hand.
For the flexibility of being able to go for the offlane especially, but, Queen of Pain with against like a Shaker Shadow Fiend or something like that can do okay, but will sometimes just get hit with the Fissure, double raise, and then you're just going to die. But the flexibility of having a Shaker just go towards that off lane, keep Aspera guessing, is definitely worth the early pick, in my opinion, of the Shaker. So FDG also going to join that Shaker with a Phantom Lancer. In the previous games up against CIS Rejects, they didn't really get a lot of time to really get to a mid-late game stage, as CIS Rejects kind of ran them over beforehand. So maybe Aspera are going to be on the same game plan. Maybe FDG will actually be able to, get to the latest portions of the game. Problem, of course, is that Phantom Lancer typically isn't the hero that goes for Daedalus, so I don't know why they picked that up.
Absolutely, yeah, it's a real problem. Probably going to be a crit shaker and a PL support. That's the normal way you end up playing this if you want the Daedalus. But all right, that was dumb. But yeah, it's kind of a cool little combo here as well, because obviously, first things first, you end up taking Shaker out of the pool, so you don't have to worry about that as the PL. The other thing that you end up getting out of this is that PL can be somewhat of a self-sufficient carry. He doesn't need a ton of supports around him to be able to sort of secure the CS that he needs in the early game because of that doppelganger ability. So this allows your Shaker to be able to sit mid if you want him to, as you were talking about with the Shadow Fiend combo, or potentially as well be running that offlane position. Once again, it's just complete and total flexibility at this point in time. The only person that's really secured into a lane is a PL, and even him, you could argue, if you wanted to do a tri-lane, there are worse heroes to do it with than PL if you wanted to make that happen.
Yeah, then it would probably be Shaker in the safe lane, just because you don't want to have double melee heroes in an offensive tri-lane. Gets a little bit awkward, unless you're talking about like, CK, Sven, Tiny, those heroes that are just pure brute force. But yeah, it is definitely possible to put the Phantom Lancer in that offensive tri-lane. That will depend on what Aspera grab for their top lane. It seems like it's going to be Arzeek's Naga Siren to get a rather early pickup. Not exactly the hero that you want up against Phantom Lancer, as, I mean, yes, putting him to sleep is kind of nice to interrupt the initiation perhaps of FDG, but Naga Siren's lockdown versus PL, very, very limited. He could just doppelgang out of the ensnare. If you put him to sleep, maybe hoping to set up for a Queen of Pain Sonic Wave, the first thing he's going to do when he wakes up is doppelgang out. So this Naga Siren is kind of awkwardly placed right now.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it's even going to be a support Naga, because one of the things I'm looking at here, if you did end up taking Splash relatively early against the PL, that's decent. You lower down that armor a little bit more, and that forces the Shaker to probably stay in a defensive tri-lane just to be able to get that little bit of extra whatever going on. And then you have to pick a hero in the mid lane who is good against the Queen of Pain. And they've already banned out Lena. Storm Spirit has trouble sometimes before he gets 6, but that's a lot of theory crafting based upon how many different ways this draft can still go. I kind of am wondering, to me it does feel though like it could potentially be a Naga Siren in that support role. Gyrocopter banned out, as well as the Dazzle are the other heroes that have been mentioned. And it looks a little bit too much, like you said, that Naga Siren could have too difficult of a time with him as a carry in the late game. But we'll see. A lot of options.
I think most likely it's going to be Arzeek grabbing it, and then we'll play it as that support role. But even as a support Naga Siren, like, the bare minimum you want to do is be able to set up for someone else to do anything with that ensnare, and that's not dependable versus PL. Versus Shaker and Rubik, yeah, you're probably still going to get it to come together, and Rubik, kind of defensive support here for FDG. Looks like they do want to extend the game as much as possible, get this Phantom Lancer really stacked, because Rubik Shaker, if they're both played as supports, and right now you should expect that, though they do have a little bit of CC, they don't really have a ton of heroes that could really make great use of it. If they had a Gyrocopter, then they would be really well positioned to go aggressive, but they don't. So for Aspera now, they might be looking for someone like a Disruptor. This Naga Siren has to set up for something, otherwise why do you pick her up? And just singing into a Static Storm can get you a couple easily won team fights, or a Luna. They're going to step up the aggro, seems like pretty early. Take a page out of the CIS Rejects book.
Yeah, definitely. And I kind of was thinking about potentially running a Spirit Breaker in this lane as well, but thinking about it more often now. I think that probably something else with a stun would be really good here. Maybe they run a Witch Doctor in with this as well, could be pretty solid. FDG do have another pick, and the Shadow Fiend. I normally like the Shadow Fiend pick, but this one worries me a little bit because this might mean that the PL, if Shadow Fiend's just going straight up against the Queen of Pain, then you end up having trouble in that lane because the Shadow Fiend can sometimes just die. And if the Earthshaker is sitting mid to try and defend him, that means that the PL and Rubik might have a bit of a tough time in this lane if Aspera go very aggressive here with another pick like the Witch Doctor or the Disruptor as well.
Radiant team
All three of these heroes, Disruptor, Luna, and Naga Siren, is a pretty dangerous tri-lane, mostly because of that Lunar Blessing from the Luna. And even though FDG do, in theory, have the power defensive tri-lane to, hold up against that, then, as you said, the Shadow Fiend's going to be screwed over. So I like the decision from Aspera here to go really aggressive. The Silencer is going to actually get banned out. You don't want to get hit with the Global Silence after you're done singing. That is just the worst for the Naga Siren and for Aspera in general. So I think bans across the board looking pretty good. Should be looking for something like a Clockwork here from Aspera to have some sort of secondary form of initiation, perhaps. But it does seem like they want to get this Luna a little bit farmed and get in under this Phantom Lancer. And together with the Queen of Pain, that is a hell of a lot of magic damage. They're very fragile, however, so if FDG are somehow able to land a good Requiem or land a good Echo Slam, then Aspera may just crumble.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see these last couple picks here. FDG are kind of in a little bit of trouble because I feel like this lane is going to be probably the top lane for both Dire and Radiant, and that means that Aspera has the chance to somewhat counterpick as well. They have the option. They have a lot of different options here, and 32 seconds of reserve time gives them some time to think about it. Wow, really? That's a little bit surprising. So it looks like they're actually going to switch it up and throw the Earthshaker in that off lane, probably, as we were talking about his mobility. And ooh, huh?
Okay, I like it. This is the second time in the row we're seeing Vengeful Spirit, which is not something we get every time. You get minor minus armor synergies with Vengeful Spirit, Shadow Fiend, but Aspera definitely get the upper hand in this. Like, they still have a powerful enough lane to contest Vengeful Spirit, Rubik, Phantom Lancer, and Earthshaker going towards the off lane is already kind of weak. Tidehunter versus any melee hero is usually going to go towards Tidehunter. Minor exceptions with Axe and like Broodmother sometimes, but Shaker versus Tidehunter is like 80-20 for Tidehunter.
Interesting. I wasn't sure about that matchup, but I was wondering if maybe Enchant Totem maxing with a level and Aftershock could do enough. But God, what's it called? How am I forgetting this? His E.
Anchor Smash.
Anchor Smash, of course, can definitely be really effective. So I'm expecting to see those two up in the top lane. We'll see how this goes. I think that probably Aspera is looking a little bit more favored in this draft. I was kind of hoping to see something like a Razor maybe out of Aspera as that last pick, or a Viper potentially, but certainly Tidehunter, a very big force to be reckoned with. And getting that sort of wombo combo action you've got here, you got Eclipse, you got Ravage, you got if things go wrong, Song, it's all looking good for them. And not that FDG is bad necessarily, but I think the team fight potential here out of Aspera is very, very potent, and maybe they might end up having trouble getting to the late game FDG and letting that Phantom Lancer get online.
This Tidehunter is also a hero that, much less seen than Darkseer or Clockwork, is sometimes going to go for a mech, and it seems like Aspera do have this giant sort of team fight death ball strategy lined up. If you do go for a mech, well, I mean, that's definitely going to help you quite a bit. They're all loading out to the bottom lane, so no huge indication here. But yeah, the Tidehunter, not only with the Anchor Smash, but also the Kraken Shell, making it so that he can just issue an attack command to the Shaker and take creep aggro while taking no damage, and the Shaker can't do that. He has less armor, he'll have no damage block, so yeah, the Tidehunter just across the board has an advantage there, and it looks like maybe that's not going to actually line up the way Aspera wants, since it seems like it's just going to be 3v1 lanes, which is, just fine for both sides. Tidehunter on the Dire is going to get into the Ancient Pit and try to stack that up for either himself or the friendly Luna down the line. And they're going to run into each other down towards bottom lane, but I don't think there's going to be a fight here. Let's see who's going to be playing what on Aspera. We got Workin playing the Queen of Pain, really going aggro with Afterlife right behind her as the Tidehunter. Arzeek's on the Naga Siren, so double fish here for Aspera. Got 1101 on the Luna, and Lifelong Tragedy is on the Disruptor top.
Meanwhile, for FDG, we do have Lady Luck on that Rubik over there, as well as Droid down on the Earthshaker. Sitting next to Lady Luck is going to be that Shadow Fiend. Turson, ooh, might end up getting a little bit of a cliff here. Disruptor is up on the cliff. That's not where you want to be. Go back to lane. Can't do that right now. 111. Going to be able to get that one on the Shadow Fiend. Nicely done. So the rest of the way, I think they just leave Disruptor up there pretty much. Lodine is going to be playing the Vengeful Spirit, and last but not least, Zara on the Phantom Lancer.
Oh, great. So Disruptor being up here is inconvenient for Aspera, but Luna versus Shaker right now is fine for the Luna as long as it remains a 1v1 lane. Disruptor may take a while to actually get down here, but Rubik cannot trade hits with the Disruptor on the high ground, just has less damage, less armor. And the Shadow Fiend will eventually be able to, but not right now. Looks like Lifelong Tragedy wants to deny himself, or wants to farm. You know, he's getting something. This is the jungling Disruptor. Everyone knows about this one.
Nicely done. In the mid lane, it's looking like we're going to be seeing them trading a couple of hits here. It was actually pretty good timing there by Turson. He ended up recognizing the creep wave was coming in, and he was able to trade a little bit more than you would normally with a Queen of Pain because the creeps are going to start aggroing onto her. So normally the dagger ends up doing a really big, huge amount of damage, and it's really difficult to trade with any Queen of Pain. But being able to get a little bit extra there at the end, I think he only got one of those last hits from that raise. That was kind of unlucky there.
Well, bottom lane, we have a dual lane scenario for both sides. Tidehunter and Naga Siren usually don't really work that well together, but up against the melee hero, the Phantom Lancer, making it very difficult for him to actually step up and get last hits safely. Anchor Smash making it difficult to actually get the last hit, obviously. And then with the minus armor synergy with Anchor Smash, which is physical also, it is quite a bit of damage. Even with now a full tri-lane here from FDG, Aspera have a very, very solid dual lane. Like, they are hard to dislodge. They could throw a magic missile, they could lift them up in the air Afterlife, but what damage are they actually doing? Not that much, especially with Arzeek showing his face as well. So it's a tough time right now in the bottom lane, and this is of course going to free Disruptor up to actually get a lot. This is helping him out a lot more than it really should. He's finally going to TP out of there, but he's level 2 while being cliffed. That's pretty good.
That's pretty awesome, actually. It's not something that you often see, but able to make it happen. Nicely done. And with this Ring of Protection start as well on the Tidehunter, he has 6 armor right now, as well as the damage block. He's in just a great spot, being able to soak up all of this, and with the Enchanted Mango there as well, are going to chase down this Rubik a little bit. One more Anchor Smash and a right click, and Afterlife is just going to be a bully in this game, continuing to push them away. Once he ends up also, now he has boots also, that's the other thing, so he can chase them down pretty effectively. It's going to be tough here in this lane, particularly if the Disruptor decides to switch on down, but I think he's probably going to be confident staying up here in the top.
Right now, the only thing that's really holding Aspera back on this bottom lane is their mana pools. They have a Mango, but I would assume one of these heroes wants to go for Arcane Boots or Energy Booster or something. If one of those heroes picks up an set of Arcane Boots, then things get really bad for FDG. We can see already this early game is favoring Aspera. Shadow Fiend is getting outlast hit by the Queen of Pain. Of course, double damage rune right now for Workin. Not exactly making it easy for the SF, but yeah, Queen of Pain exerting her dominance, and they really need someone to help out with the Shadow Fiend, either directly in lane or in the jungle, trying to get some stacks up, and it looks like neither of those are actually going to be coming anytime soon, simply because all these heroes are needed on bottom. They're going to lift up Afterlife again, throw a magic missile on him, but it's going to be Lodine to take even more damage to the Tidehunter. Anchor Smash, couple more right clicks, 3 HP. Vengeful Spirit's going to salve up, and Arzeek getting a little bit too close to the tower, taking tower shots. Zara has another lance in 2 seconds. That won't directly be lethal, but it may be enough with some follow-up. Doppelgang forward, wave through, and Zara's going to draw first blood. Rubik also dropping very low, 5 HP. How are FDG actually doing this at so low HP? But Afterlife should chase him down. Anchor Smash will get the kill, and he can actually fight his way out of here pretty decently. Lodine is going to push the Tidehunter out of lane, it looks like, and it will be a 1-for-1 trade down towards bottom, but overall 2-for-1 as Aspera also grab a kill on the Shaker top.
Yeah, that was a pretty nice little combo there. It was so close to being able to take on down that Vengeful Spirit, but the salve coming in a little bit too handily. And I'm imagining that was just a kind of combination of Glimpse, Thunderstrike, and a nice little Lucent Beam to make sure that the Shaker ended up going down up in the top lane. This ward right here by the Dire, not a conventional spot for where you place the Observer ward, but certainly not going to get dewarded either. Ooh, Disruptor coming around the other side is going to Thunderstrike. He does have a Glimpse again in a second. Does get tossed back, but then the Fissure getting laid down as well. He's going to run around the other direction. What a play. That is awesome right there. Tossing on the Fissure so that way they can't chase around the other direction. Really, really heads up play there by Droid.
And also kind of unlucky play there from the Disruptor. Pulled the trigger on the Glimpse at the exact same time Fissure came out. If he waited or casted it earlier, like either one, then the Luna probably would have been in a much better position to actually respond. Wouldn't have been slowed down by the Fissure, and they may have gotten the kill on the Earthshaker. This is only level 2 beam on the Luna, which is kind of weird to see. Usually it's switched 3 beam to Aura. But yeah, the Luna still has enough sustained damage output and just is a very fast hero to chase that Shaker down. What does she actually have flying out to her? A whole bunch of things. Looks like it's just Ring of Basilius. And then probably should be Power Treads, Boots, something along those lines. Bottom lane, Lowdown in a little bit of trouble. Magic Missile's going to slow down Tidehunter from his Anchor Smash, but he's still fast enough to get in there for the smash. There it is, crushing the Vengeful Spirit. There is no more mana on the Naga Siren. Afterlife is tanky, but not dive tier 1 tower tanky. He does have his Gush, however. Gush and Anchor Smash works pretty well together. He's going to swim away from the enemies. That's just like, yeah, that's a little bit of BM, but I love it.
It's some mind games going on. Everybody loves to see that. Also worth noting here in this lane, when somebody gets hit with Anchor Smash and Gush, that's going to be -5 armor. Really, really potent amount of damage that can come out with that, and I've been loving how they've been able to sort of build this lane. The really smart drafting. I thought that he was going to be up in the top lane, Mr. Tidehunter, but with the Naga Siren there, kind of a cool little melee lane that isn't often seen and pretty effective.
And more often nowadays, we're seeing teams grab supports that are kind of low-ish damage, and usually that just presents a problem of how are we going to kill the enemy Darkseer, or how are we going to dislodge the enemy Clockwork from getting experience. It doesn't really come to this point where they're working with very low damage, and they're like, wow, we can't actually kill off any of these 2 heroes, and they are putting a lot of pressure on us. So it's good recognition from Aspera to see that, hey, these are support heroes that can't do anything versus a Tidehunter. And I thought it was just going to be the Tidehunter, but adding Zeke is, adding a lot more offensive power than I really would have expected. With the Orb of Venom with the boots, it's very difficult to actually escape from these two, since you're going to want to use your spells offensively, but that's not always in the cards. Missile into Zeke lands as well, but with the Anchor Smash, he probably is just going to walk away.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, the other thing is they've been able to deny them a whole heck of a lot because they've been dying. Vengeful Spirit right now is sitting on a TP scroll, and that's it. Like, she is having a really, really tough game. We also see the Rubik, who, all he has is 1 Ironwood Branches and 2 Sentries. They can't really pull in this lane because you might end up just getting tossed under tower, and they can kind of dive to some extent, and they can even go and contest the pulls also, which we aren't seeing this time around. I think that they're going to have that as the Naga Siren ends up coming on back into lane with the illusions at least, and Tidehunter's going to try and contest this as much as possible. It is also going to leave Tidehunter a little bit underfarmed. Oh, that's a DD. That's going to be a dead Shadow Fiend. Scream of Pain. One last hit. Is he actually going to get away from this? I think, oh my goodness, Turson actually ends up escaping 20 HP.
Oh, she's going to blink in, Scream blind, and yeah, she's not going to get the kill. She thought that the Shadow Fiend was ringing around the tower. Oh, Tidehunter actually will go down. Looks like he was going a little bit too deep in that counterplay there, but they thought the Shadow Fiend was looping around the trees. He was just running away. So if the Sonic Wave was used just blindly, yeah, you get the kill. Otherwise, it's a pretty big missed opportunity there for the Quap. The Tidehunter does go down. That's a big kill for FDG. Gonna give them a little more free space over in that bottom lane. But Afterlife, he has Arcane Boots, and I already mentioned the problem with that for this bottom lane, and he's almost at Ravage. And Naga Siren's not too far away from her song, so this bottom lane is now very, very difficult. And still, the other lanes are going very well for Aspera as well. Across the board, Aspera are winning their lanes, and for FDG, this Phantom Lancer needs a lot more time to farm.
Yeah, we saw in the mid lane also the Shadow Fiend, when he TP'd back, got glimpsed back to base, and now they're going to rotate on over and take down Droid, I think. This is unless we see some amazing jukes again, which I feel like might not be the case, Droid is going to end up going down. Queen of Pain, Disruptor, and the Luna all in the area to make sure that that kill ends up connecting.
And they're going to stick around. They're using the Luna's damage obviously to just bulldoze down the tower, but okay, it seems like Queen of Pain will leave. Lifelong Tragedy is still sticking around. They do have the Eclipse with maxed out Beam, so if any one hero comes up to the top lane, most likely it's going to be the Shaker. Either he takes an Eclipse to the face, or he just gets sent all the way back to the Fountain, in which case that's 100 gold out of the pockets of FDG. So I do like the decision for the Disruptor to actually stick around here. If FDG were watching, they should know that Disruptor has a TP and probably shouldn't be there anymore, but he is. Bottom lane, Afterlife is going to gush towards Lowdyne. Ravage is at the ready. He's going to walk right in for Anchor Smash. There's the Ravage onto the Rubik as well. Both of them very, very low, but not dead just yet. Riptide a little bit low range, and Arzeek now swarmed to Phantom Lancer illusion, but still Lowdyne has to be driven away by Afterlife. He will get the kill on the Venture Spirit with another gush, but Zara also gets the kill on the Naga Siren. He cannot kill off the Titan, it's not going to happen, but with Queen of Pain coming in, Zara's got to watch himself. Doppelgang will come up soon. Maybe dodge a Sonic Wave, that's best case scenario for Zara. We'll throw another Lance Blink, Scream, Sonic Wave still being held by Workin. Zara waiting for it for sure. Gushed again, Blink forward, Sonic Wave, it'll be dodged by Zara. And that should be the Phantom Lancer survival, although with another Blink coming up in just 4 seconds, Queen of Pain is dropping pretty low. Scream, right-clicked onto Zara, will get the kill. Kind of bold there from the Phantom Lancer, ends up just suiciding into the Queen of Pain. And in the meantime, top lane tower was taken.
That was kind of weird. You know, you really would have thought that the Phantom Lancer would have just sort of retreated back to the trees, but I guess worried about dying potentially, and he knew that the Queen of Pain was only going to get a little bit stronger. She did have a bottle charge there as well. Maybe his only chance there was to try and get a kill on her. That being said, the supports were coming over as well, so not exactly sure completely about that one, but made the decision. The decision was made, and now we're moving forward through it. Lowdyne moving on over, but is caught between the Naga Siren as well as the Tidehunter. It looks like they want to try and go on the Tidehunter, knowing that Ravage is down. He's going to be perfectly fine. Does get the Anchor Smash off, but that's not going to be enough, I don't think, unless he is the tankiest hero in this entire game. Are you kidding me? No, he ends up going down there, and unfortunately, Queen of Pain rotating in as well. That's going to end up being a kill on top of the Rubik after the Tidehunter goes down, and it looks like Lowdyne's going to go down as well. All of that tankiness actually did end up accounting for something, and now Zara getting chased down as well. Luna ended up rotating as well as the Disruptor. This is definitely going to be a kill. Probably Zara taking a lot of damage. Maybe can take down Lifelong Tragedy. No, nicely done. Triple kill by Workin as he rotates over by the Ancients.
Man, that was a lucky time for Kraken Shell to proc. It got rid of some Magic Missile, got rid of, I believe, some Slow also from a Lance. And though it didn't save the Tidehunter completely, it drew FDG in a lot. They're going to Requiem Afterlife up towards top lane. He's still alive, though, has stick charges, may even just live from this. No, Arzeek's going to come in as well, a little bit late, but setting up now for a Kinetic Field. Static Storm onto 2 is going to do quite a bit of damage, but also they're going to try to go for Arzeek, just race her in the Static Storm. The Shadow Fiend will fall with the Echo Slam, will grab 2 on top, but here comes Workin. Looking at Clean House, making an even trade across the board. Yeah, is definitely going to grab Droid. Just a couple more right clicks. The poison damage will do it here. Here comes Lowdyne. But versus this Queen of Pain, you don't want to be messing with her. Level 5 versus level 10. I don't care who you are. It's not a good matchup for the level 5 hero. Lowdyne needs another magic missile, but just doesn't have enough mana. Workin is... Wow, the BM. Wow. That is just... Cool guys don't look at explosions, right? That's a thing. Over towards mid, 1101's gonna take down a tower, now chasing forward for the Rubik. Eclipse is available and will just kill off the Rubik instantly, but again, it's the FDG side to out-juke the Dire. That was just awesome from the Queen of Pain. I love it.
That was pretty impressive. You gotta love that type of play right there. Although that being said, she might end up paying for it. No, just gonna be able to get away from it like it ain't no thing. This is actually going to be, oh my god, Eclipse on top of Zara. He's gonna go down. Oh, really, really well played there by 1101. And Aspera, combination of luck or skill, hard to tell which one it is at times. Certainly making their presence felt across the whole map.
If they're gonna win, there's no sense winning if you're not gonna win with style, right? So the Luna times her beam perfectly to cancel out the doppelganger possibility there from the Phantom Lancer. It's eating all the loosened beams in the world, and well, yeah, he's probably just going to go down. Now looking to dive, however, on the bottom lane, Droid has a level 1 fissure, which is a little bit of stun duration, but not enough up against these 3 heroes. He needs some help, but Afterlife has the Ravage should TPs come in. And there's also a glimpse here from Disruptor, so if any TP comes in, it's going to be -1. Turson is going to be spotted by Afterlife, or should be spotted. It looks like they're going to avoid a fight for right now. If they had any other heroes down here, I'm sure Aspera will be itching for a fight, but they also don't have a song. That's really what you want to have in this type of engagement.
Yeah, and it looks like up in the top lane, I think you know, they also really want to make sure that the Queen of Pain is there. She does have a TP scroll and ready to rotate on over should the fight actually break it out. And it does look like Lifelong Tragedy and Afterlife are hanging out over the side here. They get a glimpse on him. Ooh, this could be a little bit rough. All of the heroes converging. 4 heroes for the Radiant. Ravage is ready, but very wisely going to spread out. And this is just going to be the sacrificial. Unless he stays alive, Rubik, he's able to get away, glimpse back, and he's going to end up dying to the Disruptor. Meanwhile, off to the side, no raises, no song. Shadow Fiend's going to escape this time.
That was an incredibly bold move from the Rubik. Even though this Observer Ward, it is, you know, exactly what you want if you're FDG and if you're expecting a fight down towards bottom lane. Mostly to get a read on the reinforcements. Just walking that far alone into an area where you know there are enemy heroes, he was kind of asking to die right there, and he was almost going to get away, but if you almost get away, that of course means you didn't get away. They're going to continue on with this aggro down towards bottom lane. Now, wow, a Vlad's on the Luna. This is one of the most aggressive builds you could actually go as far as pushing. Here comes the song. The Static Storm's going to connect onto 2, and the Ravage is going to connect onto those same 2, if it's even needed. He will deploy, connecting also onto the Earthshaker. They want the Shadow Fiend burst with the mech. He will survive for a little while longer. Looks like they don't have enough damage. Now they have to run away. Requiem going to destroy them, but the Sonic Wave coming from behind will cut the Shadow Fiend, making an even 1-for-1 so far. Here comes the Luna, walking right into a Magic Missile, swarmed immediately and dropped. Aspera have got to turn tail and run. Queen of Pain not too healthy, and with the Fissure they'll be slowed down. Zara has another lance. Queen of Pain just gonna blink on either. Sonic Wave stolen. Completely unnecessary use on Disruptor, but it's a 4-for-1 as Aspera just lacked the damage output. If Luna was there a little bit sooner, then I think it could have gotten better for them, or the Queen of Pain, but it was just slightly mistimed.
Yeah, and you know what? Honestly, you take a look, 3,000 gold swing as well as a decent amount of EXP there as well. Big thing that I ended up spotting there, I don't know if they knew that they had the possibility to catch 3 with that Ravage. As you saw, the Tidehunter just rotated over to make sure that he got the Shadow Fiend, but there were a couple other heroes that were hidden by the Fog of War, and they didn't end up getting hit by Ravage. So basically what you got was a big chunk of your spells all not necessarily converging onto every hero. Sonic Wave caught a couple as well, but that wasn't really in time and worked in conjunction with all the other spells. So a little bit unfortunate there. Fighting near that tier 1 tower. Would have loved to be able to see something. Afterlife taking a lot of damage here as well, but we do have the Naga Siren in the area. Lodain's going to go down there. Workin going to be able to get away, I do believe. And also the Tidehunter, he was able to just walk away from that one. Fissure laid down on top of the Queen of Pain yet again. That's going to be a kinetic field, but I don't know if it's going to be enough to kill the Shadow Fiend as a mech. But there's the Eclipse coming out. Really huge. Going to be able to take him on down in just a second. A lot of damage onto creeps from this Eclipse, but it looks like the Rubik is going to go down regardless. Didn't have Spell Steal up. Actually, he used Eclipse as well. They're going to keep chasing here. Lifelong Tragedy taking a lot of damage. Earn TP out. What a Spell Steal combination that we've been seeing by Rubik.
Yeah, he stole the Eclipse, landed 1 beam only on an enemy hero, which kind of sucks. But hey, he got something. He was expecting the Eclipse. Our Zeke is also going to get dropped. Blink from the Shaker is now up, and Droid is still alive right now. Only Gush stolen by the Rubik right now, but it's an extra nuke. Will miss working or hit a creep or something like that. But 13 to 18, Aspera still with the kill lead, yes, but taking these fights without all of their ultimates, very, very risky. The Queen of Pain does have an Aghanim Scepter, so her Sonic Wave is going to be up more often than not, but level 1, Song of the Siren has a super long cooldown. Ravage always has a 150-second cooldown, and Eclipse's cooldown is also pretty large, in fact, exactly the same as Afterlife. FDG are just taking these fights when Aspera are using their ultimates, either not fully effectively, as we saw near the bottom lane tier 1, or without their ultimates altogether, and FDG are taking some pretty good fights afterwards. The Vlad's on Luna is an item that we don't always see, and we can kind of see why. She's going to want to charge into these fights, and though Vlad's gives you some extra armor, you really want to be getting something to increase your health pool. Most of the time nowadays it's Sanjin Yasha, but drums, power treads, agility, that's just not going to cut it.
Yeah, I think that what they were banking on is the ability, might be able to catch the Shadow Fiend here. Requiem of Souls, could have potentially killed depending upon the movement of that Queen of Pain there. But I think that what their plan here is to try and supplement the lack of damage from the Luna, as well as sort of the lack of tankability had she gone for some other type of item, by being able to have a lot of big, huge teamfight ultimates with a lot of damage behind them. And as we saw down there, not having them all up, it really makes it difficult. So I think they're doing the right thing now, looking for a couple of little solo pickoffs with these 4 while the Luna's able to farm away. We do have 3 or 4 heroes converging potentially on the Luna here in a second. I don't think this smoke through the Radiant jungle is actually going to end up finding anything, unfortunately. And thankfully, they didn't end up catching that Luna as she rotates on into the jungle for the rest of the way. So probably just farming time here for a little while at least. because I think that they're sort of hitting a point now where the teamfight ultis aren't going to be able to kill, and they need to get another item up on this Luna.
Or at least get her some extra sustain so that she could follow up with some right clicks. The tier 1 on bottom lane will be dropped. I believe the smoke from the Dire was actually spotted by one of these observer wards from the Radiant. Not sure which one, but there's a high chance that it actually was. Top lane, tier 1 top lane, also going to fall in an even trade so far. And it looks like it's going to be Aspera to call the fight up towards top. Luna, however, going to walk right into a magic missile. Wave is there, plus a big enchant totem hit. 250 Fissure is there as well. And the song's coming in from the side. Eclipse is there, then she's going to drop. The Static Storm's going to be deployed onto Droid. Lifelong Tragedy may find himself with a kill, and with Workin's help it will. Now he's onto Lowdyne. Sonic Wave through is going to completely whiff, and they also lose the Naga Siren off to the side. Afterlife has the Ravage. He is coming in. Blink dodge. And the Magic Missile Queen of Pain will get away from there, but this Luna is so paper thin right now, and the help from Aspera just not coming in time. They do cancel a TP from the Shadow Fiend, which is nice, I guess, but Aspera take a 2-for-1 and not a good 2-for-1, nowhere close to being a nice one.
Yeah, the big problem there that you ended up seeing was the Naga Siren TP'd in with the song going, and unfortunately the Luna got caught out right about here, and the song's duration, the whole area that it was hitting was right about here. So throughout that whole course of that engagement, the Song of the Siren was going, but Luna was still dying, and then afterwards Rubik stole Song, so they couldn't reinitiate because they were going to reinitiate into Song, and he still has it. So this is a really dangerous situation for Aspera right now. All of the teamfight ultimates that they've got are just being used against them, or at least have the potential to be, and you can't run in against a Song of the Siren with Requiem of the Souls up. You're going to take a hell of a lot of damage right to the face. So this Rubik, the pick has really been paying off for Lady Luck.
It gets a lot better when the enemy team has all these huge high cooldown ultimates, and I'm pretty sure that wasn't necessarily the plan for FDG. It just kind of worked out like that. The Rubik, as long as he's patient, will be able to steal some really big kills, and if he's able to scrape together a Force Staff or a Blink Dagger or any sort of mobility item to get in there, then stealing a Ravage, stealing a Sonic Wave, even Eclipse is pretty easy to steal. There's a lot of high power skills that the Rubik can grab, assuming he's actually not caught with the initial setup from Aspera. Still Song into Static Storm, into Sonic Wave, Tidehunter Ravage. It's still like a really deadly combo that FDG have to avoid, but so far they've been doing a pretty good job at that. Bottom lane looks like it's going to be a straight push for them. Workin's in the area with a Sonic Wave available. Might as well throw it and then blink out, although they're looking for a kinetic field onto Turson right now. He's going to be tracked up by the Thunder Strike, so they do know exactly where he is. Tower is going to fall. You can't outlast it and enchant totem at level 4. Just not going to happen.
Yeah. And I do like the enchant totem that's been leveled on up there above Fissure. It's always a nice thing to have that bonus damage that comes on out. 400% I believe at level 4, yeah. Tons and tons of damage with a quickness. And I think that they really need to wait for this Blink Dagger up on Tide, and it looks like that's what they're going to opt to do at this point in time. He already has mech, he already has arcane boots, he's tanky as all heck, but he just needs that form of initiation, the ability to jump on top of, and we've talked about it, get the initiation off on the Rubik. I think that's the key to these team fights here, is either the Rubik or potentially the Earthshaker. These heroes that have a ton of damage potential and can really mess up and disengage a team fight.
Well, Aspera are going to get hit with their own song. It's our Zeke, maybe a little bit of karma, but he has a song to instantly respond, and the enemy, these allies are coming in. He's going to hit with the Fissure immediately. Mech is there, plus the Ravage. Arzeek's still going to fall. Static Storm's going to be deployed, but it actually connects onto 0 heroes, and they have to fall back. Even with the nice Sonic Wave from Aspera, they just don't have enough damage output. Eclipse won't do anything with Phantom Lancer. Ravage stolen now by Rubik, and will return it right in way to kill off the Luna. Now they're charging forward, looking for Lifelong Tragedy. One Lance will get that kill, and Aspera have used all of their ultimates, and they got absolutely nothing. I mean, if you get the song there as Naga Siren, you're going to probably turn around and get a decent team fight for Aspera, but it just never came. That's a clean 3-0 for FDG. And now they're going to take the tier 2 tower and maybe even Roshan.
Yeah, this Rubik is doing so much work, honestly. But besides that also, I mean, once again, you saw there was a chance there. Had Rubik not, or had the Fissure not followed immediately after the song, they wouldn't have been able to get it. So they really need to catch one or two of these heroes here. Roche is going to end up going down in just a second. We do have Lowdyne in the area, going to be able to potentially catch off this Naga Siren again. She does still have song, but is in a little bit of a precarious situation. I'm curious if she's going to keep trying to push on down this bot lane here or just try to get out. She does not want to have to song TP, and honestly, 45 seconds before her TP is going to be off cooldown. She needs to be careful about her positioning here that she doesn't end up getting caught by the rest of the Radiant, but it looks like she's going to be fine hiding off in the trees over here.
So Aspera's game plan at this point was not to have been completely reliant on the ultimates, but at this point they kind of are. The Luna's getting very far behind the Phantom Lancer, and just inherently we can see the Phantom Lancer's illusion making capability, making us that the Eclipse is not exactly an impressive skill. Aspera needs to layer their ultimates perfectly if they're going to effectively deal with that PL. This Luna needs a lot more acceleration, and a BKB, though nice, isn't really going to help you when you're taking this much physical damage. Like, there's still the wave from the Vengeful Spirit, Enchant Totem from Shaker, PL Shadow Fiend. Like, the physical damage on FDG is actually extremely high, especially versus a soft hero like Luna. Now they're looking for Lifelong Tragedy. Blink Forward Fissure, Enchant Totem hit 563. That just doesn't seem fair.
That is a heck of a lot of damage right there. And I think that they are going to take this tower with a very, very big quick lead here. Luna is like you said, the BKB not going to really increase her damage, going to increase her survivability some, but not a ton. I don't know if there's a great answer. Honestly, they need another. This would have been the time where, had she gone for a different item first instead of that Vladimir's offering, maybe one of her supports could pick up a Vlad's, or somebody else could pick up a Vlad's, and then she could end up going for another survivability item. But because she ended up going for that first, she's kind of stuck with it, and there's not a whole lot that they can do. Just going to push on up here towards this tier 3, and I don't know how they stop this.
Well, they have the Wombo combo. It's all up. Well, no Sonic Wave. That's going to be up in 20 seconds. And FDG, though they do have the Aegis of BKB on the Shadow Fiend, if they all get hit with that with no response, like if Shaker gets hit with the Ravage, then things can go really south really quickly. The Ravage on Rubik is going to be expiring very soon, so he's going to pop it anyway. He will throw it, connect on to 0 heroes, but now there's a song. Afterlife going to stumble into position. They're not going to get the Ravage on the Shadow Fiend. He'll pop his BKB immediately, even with the Static Storm there. Zara, no Ravage at all. In fact, lift up here from the Rubik. He's going to steal the kinetic field, but now he's stuck in the corner. Working's right on top of him, but still Terzin is very healthy. Jump in from Droid. Echo Slam going to do a lot of damage to this Queen of Pain, who's going to lose her huge kill streak, it seems like. No, she'll blink out just in time, but the rest of the heroes not as lucky. It's a 2 for 3. Terzin and Zara still alive, and crucially the Shadow Fiend still has his Aegis, and Droid's going to actually snipe the Queen of Pain, get himself 1k gold off that. Quap buys back. We'll have a Sonic Wave soon, but by the time she's ready to go in with the Blink Dagger, this bottom lane is going to be down racks. His Workin's going to jump right into a Fissure. Enchant Totem, big hit, 420, is going to chunk her down, and she's going to run to the south, but there's no escape from Droid. The Phantom Lancer Illusion takes the kill, and that's GG. I like the Aspera game plan. The execution, though, had a lot to be desired.
Man, oh man, that was so close to being able to take out that Rubik over and over again. Finally, they did take him in the end, but what a play there. Absolutely doing everything they needed to. FDG coming back after that loss to CIS Rejects, and really, really great execution, making it all work out. Great game.
No Daedalus, though. 1 out of 10.
Enough.
I mean, I'll give the Rubik another point. So 2 out of 10, but still no Daedalus. They still take the game regardless. Aspera, they just needed to get the ultimate combos to land a little bit more properly. The lanes went really well, but I think once the Earthshaker got his Blink Dagger, then it was all downhill from there. And the mech from Shadow Fiend. Guys, I'm Mikelorus. I'm joined by Lyrical Gangster. We'll be right back for Game 2 between Fast Daedalus and Aspera in just a little bit. Don't go anywhere.